Hey y'all, Athena here. Like my last video, I'm going to be talking about my time with the Granblue Fantasy Versus Rising open beta test. I got to play in it about 2 weeks ago. I think I played in this before the Tekken 8 one. I just dropped a video on my time with the Tekken 8 beta. So if you want to hear my thoughts on that, you can go check that out. I think I will be referencing it a couple of times in here, but if you want to hear everything I had to say on it, check that out. I am going to be reading off some bullet points just so I feel like I can get everything I have to say out. And I'm going to be handling this in segments, so I feel like this will be a more constructed review now that I have at least a little bit of experience reviewing something. But yeah, hope you enjoy. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is the UI and just overall like menus slash the character select screen. So at first glance at the UI, it kind of looks like you're on a website or like some form of social media. I think the first one that comes to mind is like Instagram, but it's not exactly that. I think it looks cool personally, but I can understand if you don't like it. Character select screen is a lot more compact and not. What's the best word to describe it? It's not, I guess I would say less stylized. It's more simplistic, but I personally like it a lot. Maybe it's a bit harder to see where everyone was, at least when I was looking at it at first, but I think overall I really did enjoy how it looked versus the original games. Both are really good, but I do like how the new one looks. Another thing, speaking of the character select screen, upon looking at re-looking at the footage, I did notice that you can look at your character's command list while on the character select screen, and I think that is such a cool feature, and I wish more games had that. And granted, the move list in Granblue is, I don't know if I would say it's like smaller than other games. Because most characters, I think every character has the same like inputs. Like they all have a quarter circle forward move, a quarter circle back move, a DP move, and then a down move. But it was cool. You can do like, and it's all in there. It's like you can read the descriptions of the moves, the inputs, and then your supers and stuff. I'm pretty sure it's all in there. So that was a cool thing that they added. All right, next I'm going to talk about the characters available. All the characters from the vanilla version were available, and then Siegfried was also available. I only used Siegfried. I was gonna learn Percival because I wanted to learn him back in vanilla, but I never got around to it. But I was having so much fun with Siegfried that I just played him the whole time. For some reason, I might say this wrong. I'm sorry. I'm not like an actual Granblue player, but Anila, the sheep girl, she was not playable, which was odd considering she was revealed before Siegfried. But regardless, my time with Siegfried was cool. I thought he was incredibly fun to play, so much so that I didn't try anybody else. My favorite things about him were his fireball. Kind of liked just like the delay on the medium one. The light one may have had delay too, but I don't remember. I just thought it was like, it covered a lot of distance. It kind of reminded me of Annie from Skullgirls' fireball. Very, very similar. I liked it a lot. His stance, he had like this, I think it was his down button special. He would like do like these swings with his sword, and then he would go into a stance, which you could then do multiple follow-ups out of. Like one was like an overhead, not an actual overhead, but it's like an overhead swing. One was like a upward strike that whiffed on crouching opponents. One was a parry, which the parry was my favorite one. It was very, very fun to catch people pressing buttons. Like I would use the stance the first time in a match, and I'd be like, they're gonna press something, because they don't know about the parry, or they just think I'm not gonna do it, and then I would hit them. It's one of the most satisfying things I did probably the entire beta. And then he also had a grab, which I used a couple of times, that was cool. And his super skybound art, I believe that's what those are called. Not the original super, but like the one when you have low health. That one was cool. It had some lore in there. Like I said, I don't know anything about Granblue, so I don't know what his connection to the characters were, but I think Gran was in there, and then some of the other characters, but it just looked really cool. So those were the things I really enjoyed about him. Also, he has hella chunky buttons. Like, his heavies feel incredible to hit. Like, even on block, you just feel plus, and on hit, you feel like you're really hurting them. And then on counter hit, which I'll get to counter hits later, it felt really good. Okay, we're gonna talk about the new mechanics now. So the first thing, I believe it was called Rising Strike. Okay, I apologize. They're called Raging Strikes, and according to the website, Raging Strikes are powerful attacks that cannot be blocked and cause guard crush in addition to depleting a bravery point from the foe. Your foe is temporarily defensive after a guard crush. Use the moment to press your advantage. Performing a Raging strike against a foe in a block stun won't cause guard crush, so be careful with your timing. The bravery points, which also according to the website, this resource can be consumed to perform brave counters and are depleted upon being struck by a raging strike. Both players start each round with 3. Getting struck by a raging strike when you have 0 will cause you to stagger, leaving you vulnerable. I did notice that in the UI, but I had no idea what it was until literally right now, so that is news to me. But this is basically, if you've ever played Street Fighter 6 or watched it, this is basically Granblue's drive impact. You can do it in the middle of a combo, or I guess a block string, where you can just do it raw, and if it hits, it'll cause a guard crush. It's unblockable, and it costs 25% of your gauge to use, and for an additional 25%, you can press the same button again. It's I believe for me it was medium heavy. You can do a follow-up, and it's called Raging Chain, and you get a full combo after that follow-up. Costs a lot of meter, but it's incredibly fast, and I had a hard time reacting to it because personally a lot of people didn't use it against me. But yeah, very, very useful, very, very fast, and you need meter to counter it if you get hit. So when you're getting hit by the Raging Strike, you have to, like, I'm not sure exactly what the command is to counter it. I think you just have to do it back, medium and heavy, or forward and medium heavy. I don't exactly remember, but you have to do it back, and you have to have the meter, or else you're gonna fucking need a full combo probably. I think they should really either like add a bunch of scaling to it, because it hurts. I mean, granted, you are using 50% meter. I'm not saying it shouldn't hurt, but it was very fast, and I felt, like I said, I felt it was kind of hard to react to, personally. There's a Brave counter, which is basically this game's version of Alpha counter. You hold the block button and then press medium and heavy while you're blocking or guard crushed. This may be how you're supposed to beat the Raging Strike, actually. But it is just a counterattack that can be performed while blocking a foe's attack or upon being struck by a Raging Strike. It will send the flow flying upon a successful hit and has a quick recovery if blocked, making it an effective tool to turn the tides of battle back in your favor. And like I stated before, this is what you need the bravery points for, which I was not aware of at the time. I think I saw someone use it on me, and then I was like, okay, how the fuck do I do that? And then I just tried to implement it into my game, and I don't know, I don't think I used it all that often, but I think, well, it's definitely necessary if your opponent is using Raging Strike, because that's the counter to it. But that costs 50 meter and a bravery point, so just as a heads up. All right, next, they added a new addition to the auto combo system, a thing called triple attack. So before, you would just press either light 3 times, medium 3 times, or heavy 3 times, and you would get an auto combo, which is still how it works in Rising, but now on the 3rd hit, if you press forward and medium and forward and heavy, you get different attacks. If you press forward and medium, you get a low attack, and if you press forward and heavy, you get an overhead. I don't know if you can combo off of these, maybe on counter hit, but it usually just leads to the one strike, either the low or the overhead, and then you kind of just continue your pressure. Or if they block it, you might be negative. I'm not really sure. I didn't really get a chance to test the frames or whatever on that, but it is new. I didn't use it all that often. I didn't really find it very necessary for most of the people that I played, but against some of the better players, I found it useful a couple of times. And not that many people used it on me. Off the top of my head, people only used it on me like once or twice. Another new mechanic they added was the dash attacks. So while you're dashing, if you press light, medium, or heavy, you'll get different attacks. When pressing light, at least according to the website, it says dash in with a light dash attack for a quick and easy way to go on the offensive. Medium was dashing with a mid or low hitting medium dash attack to put your foe on notice. Properties will vary between character, yeah, like I said. And heavy will dash in with a heavy blow. Although it's the slowest of the three options, it can be chained into a combo for serious damage. For Siegfried, I don't remember what his light or heavy was. I think that the heavy was like some form of kick, but I didn't use it too much. It was either a kick or some form of sword slash, I don't remember. But the medium one, I believe it was like this like low sword poke, which was actually pretty useful. I didn't use it like all the time, but when I did use it, it worked. So I don't know how useful it'll be on, you know, like at the high level, but from where I was playing, most people I was playing against, it worked. And it just looks cool. I like running attacks. Kind of reminds me of playing Smash. Okay, last of the new features or new mechanics was the ultimate skills. They're basically in amplified EX moves. You can't combo into them, or you can't cancel into them, I should say. So like say you hit a heavy, if you try to cancel into them, they're done with the skill button. So instead of doing like quarter circle forward light, you would do quarter circle forward X. It just doesn't come out. At first I didn't really get them. I was like, what am I going to use this if I can't cancel into it? And even off of like a counter hit, they're way too slow to do that, at least from my testing. But as I continued to play, I was like, okay, I can kind of see where you'd use these. Like if I think they're gonna, you know, try and meaty me or something, and I'm gonna wake up DP anyway, maybe I just use the ultimate DP instead of an EX, because they don't have the disadvantage of, you know, cooldowns. At least to my recollection, I don't believe that you lose the access to the ability for it to go on. I don't believe it goes on cooldown if you use the ultimate skill version, but because of that, they cost 50% meter, which is a lot. Obviously I'm sure the moves from character to character vary, and I only got to play Siegfried. His ultimate skill DP was cool, and his ultimate skill Fireball is probably useful. I only used it a couple of times, but it was fun to use. It looks cool. There's like a blue effect in the background, and things slow down when you use it. So it was cool to look at. I don't know how useful they all are, but it's a thing. It's there. Okay, so this isn't a new mechanic, but this is just like a thing that they changed. Clashes and counter hits kind of like a new effect on them. Things get like kind of like darker, and the screen gets like a vignette on it, and things slow down. I thought it was cool. I still got to get used to the slowdown on counter hits, though. I don't really think it was that slow before when you got a counter hit, but now it's like, now you like in Strive, now you know when you get a counter hit. It's like obvious. Clashes are incredibly hype, at least for me personally. The clashes are hype in like Fighters and Strive, but I think they look especially cool in this version of the game. Okay, now we're going to talk about the netcode / matchmaking. I don't really have much to say here, but the rollback felt great. I think even though the one game I played that wasn't that good connection-wise, it was still very playable. The original game was delay-based, so literally anything other than that would have felt good, and it felt great. Versus my time with the Tekken 8 beta, which unfortunately I had a lot of the matches just didn't feel that great. Like they were playable, but they could have been better. Plus, they were still half delayed, half rollback, or whatever combination. I don't know, but yeah, Granblue felt great. With the matchmaking, I think occasionally I'd wait a minute or so between games, but for the most part, I found games pretty quickly. And then with any of the games, out of all the games I play, I don't remember getting any disconnects. So that was a plus. I got a bunch of disconnects during Tekken. So to get the opposite of that was cool. Now I'm just going to talk about my cons. I don't really have many, so this is going to be short as well. My only real con was that the tutorial, or I guess like the guide for the game, wasn't in the game. It wasn't. So I think it was like an option in the settings you had to go to, and then it would bring up the guide or something in the menu, and then it would open like a web browser page. I'm assuming that won't be a thing in the full game, but just put it in the game. Give it a tutorial. I'm assuming it will be there. I'm pretty sure there was a tutorial in the original game, but you probably could have just put that in the beta. You probably had some new people playing who didn't know that the guide was there. But that's kind of just a minor nitpick. I found it. I was able to find it. So I'm hoping other people were able to find it too. At this point, you've probably heard this or seen it on Twitter or whatever from other people, or you noticed it yourself when you were playing. But the window for teching grabs is stupid long. Unless you're asleep, you'll probably tech a grab. The one, I guess, upside to that, if you like using grabs and your opponent still techs it but techs it late, is you still take damage on late tech, which I think was a thing in the original game. But yeah, if you're playing someone who's really good, you're probably never gonna land a grab. At least, like not a regular grab, a command grab maybe, or probably, but like not a normal one. They were. I hate to say that they were kind of useless, but they were kind of useless. Unless your opponent was asleep at the wheel. I don't remember combos doing like absurd amount of damage that it needs to be fixed, but like fix the rising strike, either make it slower or a little bit more scaling. It's not really even a con, it's just like that could probably be fixed. I saw a lot of people talking about that, and I kind of agree with it. That could probably be fixed. Alright, my closing thoughts. So I'm super excited for the game, actually. Like, I came in, not really having any expectations, but I was like, well, I really enjoyed my time with the vanilla game, so, you know, I'll see what's going on here, and see if I enjoy it, the new stuff. And for the most part, I did enjoy the new stuff, and I enjoyed the new character. I didn't even watch Siegfried's trailer when it dropped, so I was like, he doesn't really seem like a character that would probably be for me just based off appearance alone. But I went into this and I was like, well, let me try him. He's a new character. He's the only new character. If Anila was there, I probably would have tried her more. She just appeals to me more than Siegfried on a design standpoint. But at Evo, they showed 2 new characters. Actually, I think one of them, Nier, was shown before Evo, but I might be wrong about that. But they showed the trailer for Nier and Grimnir, which was cool. I like how they both look, especially Nier. I think she's kind of like a puppet character, if I remember correctly, so she'll be exciting to try. And then I'll actually be really excited to try Anila when the full game comes out. Or maybe because they announced another beta coming in the fall, so maybe she'll be playable there. But I'm excited to try those characters and any other new characters that come out. Also excited about there being a free version of the game, if I didn't already mention that. The game has a release date, November, so that'll be cool. That's kind of right around the corner. So yeah, that's exciting. Have that to look forward to. Also, the beta will have like the Fall Guys mode, and I don't know how much I'll play that, but it's cool that it's a thing. I like when games feel like they have love put into them. So the beta felt good. I came out of it having a fun time, and upon, you know, reflecting on it, I had a lot of fun. I had a fun time. So yeah, when the game comes out, I definitely recommend it. Give it a try. Pick up the original game if it's on sale. Yeah, that's all I really got to say. If you enjoyed this video, let me know, and I can make more like it next time I get the chance to try out a game before it comes out. Thank you, and you all have a good rest of your day, night, or whenever you may be watching that. I'm gonna get out of here. Bye!